He proposed after a rough night. Things escalated, but I chose our child's safety over the turmoil. He was my partner for 8 years, and on our 8th anniversary he showed up blackout drunk, dropped to one knee, and tried to propose in my doorway. I told him again I wouldn't say yes when he was drunk, and that I was scared of him drunk, and that's when he snapped. He hit the door hard enough to break it, grabbed my hair, slammed my head into the wall until the drywall cracked, and bit my thumb so hard I still can't bend it. I've been told he dragged me toward the balcony. I don't remember it, which scares me more than any bruise. My dad heard me begging and rushed in. I called 911, and it took 2 officers to pull him off me and pin him. I iced my face, covered the marks as best I could, and still went to my dream job interview the next morning with heavy makeup, praying no one stared too long. While I was at work later, a worker from Family Services came because our little boy had been asleep in the next room during the fight. They named me our son's guardian, banned my partner from contacting me, and said he could only see our child when he was fully sober with his mother present. Sober, he could be kind and careful. Drunk, he felt like a stranger who wanted to win at any cost. I felt torn in half, hurt and furious, but also grieving the family I thought I had. I asked for help. A victim's advocate got me connected to a shelter program and legal resources. I started emergency counseling. My therapist was blunt because my history is heavy. Our first baby died, my daughter's father was killed in an accident, and I've survived other assaults. I learned how easy it is to explain away danger when the good days are bright enough. Online, people warned me about the apology rush and the I'll change speeches. The police told me I was at extreme risk and to think of my kids. I kept hearing, there isn't a next time without a last time. He got out of jail, called crying, said he'd had one of my anxiety pills and 10 beers, asked, baby, what did I do? And I told him not to call me that and that Family Services was now involved and it was over. His parents took our son for the night. I started the paperwork for a protective order first thing Monday. I also started listing the practical mess I had to clean up. I'd been the one paying the bills, managing his job documents, running the accounts, reminding him to call the bank, doing the appointments, taking care of the home, and trying to hold my patchwork heart together. The plan was lawyer, custody, safety plan, locks, and supervised visits only. That should have been the end. I wish it had been. Months later, after a few court dates and a lot of promises, I did the thing everyone begged me not to do. I tried again. We lived apart while he did therapy for anger and alcohol. He cried in sessions, got a sponsor, brought me coffee, helped with bedtime, said he finally understood what he'd done, and for 8 months it felt like air was coming back into the room. Then it slipped. First it was just a few, drinks after work and blaming stress. Then missed meetings. Then the tight jaw, raised voice, and broken promises. I lost my job and started leaning on my medication to get through his mood swings. Friends pulled back because they couldn't watch me sink. I told myself I was keeping the peace for our child and because we had history. 1 month ago, the mask fell for good. I went to my parents' house with our son to cool off after he came home smelling like beer. He followed, yelling, and in minutes it turned wild. He shoved my dad, hurt my mom's arm trying to push past her, started throwing furniture, and smashed glass in front of our 3-year-old. A shard hit my eye. I'm a licensed optician and work in eye care, and even I froze seeing the blood, thinking, please, not my vision. His family called the police. Officers got there fast. He was arrested again. I was treated and my eye healed with no scar, which felt like a miracle, but my hands shook for days. I made calls I'd avoided. My advocate, the court clerk, a lawyer who could move fast, a counselor for my child through our insurance, the shelter contact who reminded me that leaving is a process, not a moment. 2 officers from the first incident came by to check on me. They sat me down and told me that people in my spot often overestimate the good days and underestimate the danger, and that the period right after a firm no more is often the riskiest time. I kept my phone unblocked so I could forward threats to the police, changed routines, let trusted neighbors know, and made sure I wasn't walking alone to my car. He got bailed out again by his mother, lost his job anyway, and went right back to drinking. The court scheduled a trial date on felony domestic charges and resisting. I told my advocate I wanted the most protective order possible, and I was ready to testify. The judge set strict conditions. He is not allowed near me or our child.